Hello everyone! I made a rash promise a while ago that if I hit 5,000 followers on Bluesky, which I did, thank you very much, I would answer some questions, and some people very generously asked me some questions. It's taken me a bit to get to this video. I was ill for a week, had a couple of time-sensitive bits to do, sorry about that. Like my last impressions gameplay video, this is a new muscle for me, so this is not going to be the slickest thing you've ever seen in your life. But I hope you will enjoy it. So, let's get to the questions. Question 1. Our New Worlds. Good friend of mine from Bluesky, I'm on his Discord, you should be too. He made Nakama, which is a great little mobile game. It's like the opposite of 2048, if you can imagine such a thing. You don't need to imagine, you can just download and have a go for free. Highly recommended, good fun, keep you sane while you're waiting for builds. So, he asks, what was your first idea when starting working on Project Motorway, now HIghway Noir? Is the current version of the game very different from that first idea? So, this game, this is what I'm working on right now. It started life as Project Motorway, just a generic working title, didn't have a better idea. It is now HIghway Noir. You can wishlist it if you want. Wishlist HIghway Noir. Is the current version of the game very different? Should have thought more about this one in advance. The look was something that had emerged naturally from super basic shapes on a screen while I prototyped. I've always loved the black and white with splashes of colour aesthetic. Sets it apart a bit from reality, because please don't think that I actually advocate the kind of driving that you do in HIghway Noir. Just no. I know this isn't hugely eloquent, but it's just cool. It's a look I've always been curious about, and I saw the chance to use it. Question 2. So, next question comes from Gaige Stalheim, voice actor. He has 100% positive feedback on VGen, and he is open for commissions now, so go get him if you want some voice acting. Right, the question is, during your development process, what was one of the weirdest glitches you couldn't find the source of that drove you batty until it randomly fixed itself? Gaige, you say you're a voice actor. Are you also a developer? Because that sounds like the voice of experience. So, the answer on my current project is not so much. I think all of the weird glitches I've had have been problem in chair, not in computer. And I've had to hunt them down and fix them. I don't think any of them have randomly fixed themselves. However, my previous project, Vectic, this very much happened. So that was a turn-based racing game. And for the longest time, some of the enemy racers would just randomly disappear. And to this day, I don't know why. I don't even remember what it was I was working on elsewhere, but somehow magically fixed it. And it just doesn't appear to happen anymore. I mean, I was very glad, because that was not a bug I was looking forward to tracking down and fixing, but I was also very confused. Question 3. Next question comes from Deep Delver, aka the Rune Pony, who has quite a wit on Bluesky, worth checking out. Very nice art style too. I've just found her YouTube channel actually, so I'm going to have a go at that too. Okay, so her question is, what are some of your big creative inspirations, like games, movies, music, aesthetics, etc., that inspired the direction of your work? I love this because you've listed off 4 things there: games, movies, music, aesthetics, and I have an answer for each. Games. Games-wise, I would have to say Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Need for Speed Undercover. So I only ever played one Need for Speed, well 2 actually, I didn't like the other one, but Undercover I really enjoyed. I think the thing I liked about it was that you could get into these great long chases that went along these main roads. There was an emphasis on small local roads, but there were a lot of big roads where it was all about the flow. And I remember from GTA Vice City, on the second island, the second big island that you unlock, there's that run that goes from the harbour up to the main city. And I think that was the longest stretch of big road in the game, because I remember finding the fastest car I could and just zooming up and down there. No other objective in mind, just see if I could get my speed up and keep it up. And it was that kind of flow that I wanted to capture in HIghway Noir. Movies! The obvious answer to this would be any car chase movie, really. The one that comes to mind is Gone in 60 Seconds. I remember there was one summer holiday where I had an unlimited pass to the cinema, and I saw Gone in 60 Seconds an embarrassing number of times. I can't even remember. But Nicolas Cage leading the cops on a merry chase. That just seemed like the sort of thing I wanted to work into a game. Bond films, anything like that. All those movies. Love them. Music. Right, this is a good one, because I've commissioned a variety of composers, and I've asked them all for their take on what they see. I've let them have a go on the game. What does it say to you? And the theme that often seems to come out is some variety of synth, which is great because I absolutely love that stuff. So I listen to a lot of Carpenter Brute, I listen to a lot of Perturbator while I work, many others as well, those are the main ones. But it's just so awesome to be able to hear some synthy stuff come into something that I've made, it's amazing. Aesthetics. The real answer to this is Sin City. I saw it when I was at university with some friends, and I think I was aware of the black and white with bits of colour aesthetic. It wasn't an entirely new thing, but it was the first time I'd seen it done on a grand scale, and just the look, the atmosphere, it blew me away. And it's something that's stuck with me ever since, and this is my first time using it on a big, proper project. So I guess what I'm saying here is put GTA, Gone in 60 Seconds, Dark Synth, and Sin City into a blender. Question 4. So, next question comes from GrimClownJay, and I've been looking forward to answering this one because Grim was my first friend on Bluesky, and he's given me so much encouragement. He's been really enthusiastic about HIghway Noir, and honestly, it's meant a lot to me. He has his own game coming out very soon. If you're watching before the 7th of November, then look forward to the release of Curtains the Clown on Steam. I honestly do recommend it. It's absolutely at least worth trying the demo. I'm not usually into platformers, but it got to me. I wanted to play more of it. I still want to play more of it, so highly recommended. And if you're watching this after the 7th of November, I'm sure it's still there. Go get it. Right, his question is, how old were you when you made your first game? I was 12 years old, and that is more years ago than I care to think about. I had, at the time, a Commodore 64. For anyone unfamiliar, I don't even know if you can call it an operating system. It was a blue screen with sort of white-grey text on it, and you'd tap away at this clunky keyboard. You'd write QBasic code, and you'd miss a character somewhere and it wouldn't run. But I did manage to get running a quiz with a single question, multiple choice, and the question was, how many letters are there in the Greek alphabet? I can't remember what the options are. The correct answer is 24. And it would either tell you, well done, you won, or no, you lost. And that, technically, was the first game I ever made. Question 5. Right, this question comes from, and I apologise if I mispronounce this, Peter Hauerland. He is working on Foundryon, which is described as a galactic fossil relic hunt, sci-fi geocaching madness, wild, mysterious, different. And that's what I like about it, the wildness, the mystery, the difference. He makes some amazing sculptures out of metal. They are unlike anything I've ever seen. They're fantastic. I love them. His question is, I'm working on this urban ARG with online overlap. How do I get it off the ground? Okay, the real honest answer here is that as a form of game, that is outside my wheelhouse. I don't know. I wouldn't want to give you any kind of specific advice because it would be bad advice. I can almost guarantee it. In terms of generic advice, I don't know whether you mean technically or in terms of just getting people to hear about it. If the latter, then I hope this is helpful. Something else I've found helpful with that is asking nicely to be added to starter packs on Bluesky. Usually the person running them, you ask nicely, they'll be happy to add you, and you'll have people who are interested in the sort of thing you're putting out who will find you that way. Highly recommend that. In terms of technical, I just had another quick scroll down your Bluesky feed, and looks like you're doing great, man. There's a lot of stuff appearing on Google Maps. I assume that you're using some kind of API for that, and it looks like you're doing it really well, so I don't think you even need my thoughts on that. Good work. Question 6. Okay, this question comes from tombasche, please excuse me if I haven't pronounced that correctly, who is working on Super Pinball Adventure, and that is a game that I recommend. I had a go on the demo, I played it on my deck, and it's perfect. Perfect game to play on the deck. Looking forward to the full version, seeing some more levels. It's good fun, fresh take on pinball, give it a go. The question is, would you fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? this is either a classic or an attempt to trick me into endorsing animal cruelty. I'm going to assume it's a classic. I've always said that I would fight the 100 duck-sized horses. I think with the horse-sized duck, if it gets in one good lick, then you're done for. Your only hope is to run away, really. I just don't see how you could overcome that meat wall. Whereas 100 duck-sized horses, they can't all attack you at once. You'd have a bit more of a means of spreading out what you need to do to defend yourself. I'm not saying it would go well, but I think it would be the lesser of two evils. That, as they say, is all we have time for, but a big thank you to everyone who submitted questions. You can find them all on Bluesky, they're all worth following, and any links they have to other stuff I will put in the description. And if anyone has any other questions about anything else, please do ask. I'm open to it. Take care.